We will be starting today's course by focusing on the why. Why does literacy matter? So we'll be looking at two videos, and as you watch these videos, I want you to be thinking about what surprises you that you're hearing in this video.
Cancer, heart disease, diabetes. These are considered some of the most serious issues facing our planet today, and justifiably so. According to the International Agency on Cancer Research, over 8 million people are claimed each year due to cancer. The World Health Organization reports that heart disease, the leading cause of death worldwide annually, touches 17.3 million people each year. The WHO also reports that an estimated 422 million people worldwide, including myself, live with diabetes. Do you know what affliction affects an estimated 1 billion people across the globe, approximately a seventh of the world's entitled population? Illiteracy. That is not to undermine the importance of funding and research for these other afflictions. On the contrary, it's to highlight the seriousness and importance of illiteracy, and that if it was a health issue, would be deemed an epidemic. But unlike these other issues that currently do not have cures, illiteracy does. Illiteracy is not a social or societal or cultural defect. It's the lack of ability to read. It's a solvable problem. But what is illiteracy? How is it defined? There are many forms of literacy: computer literacy, health literacy, financial literacy, and others. For the sake of today's conversation, we're going to talk about what a bulk of the population thinks of when they hear the word illiteracy: the basic inability to understand or produce written information. Those of us that make our ways through life off of sight words, images, just being able to sign our name, those folks are functionally illiterate. And as vaccines help to eliminate and stop the spread of disease, literacy can help us stop the spread of hunger, poverty, and crime. It is the tool necessary to break those harsh social cycles. The data is telling and troublesome. Students who exit fourth grade without being able to read proficiency have a 78% chance of not ever catching up. 90% of welfare recipients are either high school dropouts or illiterate. 85% of individuals that interface with the juvenile court system are either functionally illiterate or don't read with proficiency. No one factor can so drastically shape a person's chance of success, earning potential, health, and well-being, while helping to break the cycle that leads to daily poverty and struggle, like literacy.
Now take a moment to really ponder this powerful quote. If literacy was a health issue, it would be deemed an epidemic. Let's keep listening.
Traditional education is important, but reading is the foundation upon which all other essential skills are built. I am an example of the transformative power that literacy can have on your life and help to break the harsh social cycles we sometimes find ourselves in. A third of all children born into poverty will stay there through adulthood, but because of Miss Ray and many others along the way that took an interest, I'm not a part of that statistic. All of this is why schools and libraries should be cathedrals, beacons of light on the highest hill, proclaiming to all that here is where you change your life. Here is where meaningful, impactful progress is made. Librarians and teachers should be lauded for the work they're doing, educating our children and trying to make the world a better place through education. The investment in the intellectual development of our children is not a nice to have, it's a must have. The ability to read is a fundamental human right. It's like access to clean drinking water or health care. Its impact is every day.
So whatever the question, literacy is the answer. And this is a commitment that we have made in Birdville ISD. So let's start really thinking about what literacy means when we're thinking about student success. What you see here is an example of the Lexile levels where most of the resources are written in high school and college all the way up to our entry-level occupations. Take a moment to study the Lexile levels that you see on the screen. Think about if students were to master the reading in high school ELA classes, would that automatically prepare them to be successful in college? What about their other high school classes, the average high school textbook? Would great success in a high school literature class necessarily prepare a student for those entry-level occupations or even working in the military in their future? Why do you think the Lexile levels for those other high school textbooks would be higher than the reading done in a literature course? What do you think about college textbooks? Given that, do we think that it's just the job of the ELA teacher to grow our students as readers? If students read well in high school, does that mean they're definitely ready for the demands of literacy that await them in their futures? Likely your answer to those last questions were no. It will take a village to raise up our students as strong readers. Now take a look at this. Here we have Matt. He's 15 years old. He's in 10th grade. He's a strong reader. He should be able to read high school and college literature, but he may struggle with textbooks and other subjects. What do you hope for Matt in his high school career? Based upon what you know about high school, where or how do you think he will continue to grow as a reader? Well, let's take a look at Matt all the way through 12th grade. What do you notice about his Lexile level? Why do you think he failed to grow as a reader? He's definitely a good enough reader to get through high school, but will this prepare him for success in college and careers? What you see here is the typical growth, or lack thereof, of a high schooler. But most of our kids are entering our high schools at much lower levels than Matt here. So we have to think about why are our students entering high school reading at such low levels, and most importantly, what can we do about it? So you'll see here again, Matt's Lexile level is marked by the red line, and you can see the Lexile levels, again, of our college textbooks, of the military, of those entry-level occupations. Just think about, even though Matt was successful in high school, and his reading level was all he needed to be successful and graduate, was it enough to prepare him for his future? Imagine his journey from preschool all the way up until graduation. If you could rewrite it, what could have happened each year to help him become a stronger reader, writer, and thinker, no matter what content or life scenario he may face? Take a look at this slide and just read over those numbers for a moment. We're sending our students off to college where in their first year, they'll be expected to read over 5,000 pages. They'll write 90 to 100 polished essays. They'll have 74 text-based discussions, 21 problem sets, and you can read the other numbers on the screen. This is what we want to make sure our students are ready for, no matter what their futures hold, no matter what content areas they focus on as they go into college. What can each and every one of us do to help them be successful when they face that freshman year? When we think about our students today, we have to realize that there is a new definition of literacy than what we might have grown up with. Take a moment to read this new definition of literacy. It's not only the ability to read and write, it's the ability to identify, understand, interpret, create, compute, and communicate using visual, audible, and digital materials across all of the disciplines and all of the contexts. So let's stop for a moment and give you some time to reflect on this new definition of literacy and how you think that impacts your students' abilities to access and master the content within the subject area that you teach. Throughout this online course, you'll be asked several times to stop and share your thinking and discussion posts. So we'll get started here. You're also encouraged to read and reply to the posts that your peers make. So read the assignment prompt below and let's start discussing.